What is up, true believers? Mason here with Comics and Crosses, where we discuss the eternal truths behind our modern mythology, and I have another Christian perspective review for you today, and a special one in that it actually includes Jesus. Second Coming, Only Begotten Son, issue 2 was out this week, and I just read it earlier today, and I gotta say, this is a great series. Full disclosure, I have not yet read Volume 1 because I'm waiting for Buddy sending me some of these back issues from Volume 1. I have a few of them, but have not finished that part of the story. So jumping in at Volume 2, the first issue was hilarious, giving a backstory on Sunstar's planet that he comes from, kind of retelling the Superman story in a funny little way. And then this issue dives into Jesus. It kind of focuses all around Jesus as he kind of has a day out. A disciple comes to the door and wants to get out with him. And so they go walking and trying to find a place where, there are people where he can share his message. I will say that this comic, or this issue at least, is a mixed bag in terms of, from a Christian perspective. You're definitely getting some things that, unless I maybe need to read into it deeper or talk more with Russell, the writer, maybe I would discover that there's more significance to some things I'm missing. But my takeaway is that there are things that are not really accurate to the Bible or Christianity or who Jesus really is. I could be wrong. I'm one person. And then there are some things that are very, very accurate to who Jesus is. So it's a great one. So this issue kind of features Jesus going out and looking for a place to communicate with people, to share his message, to get with the people, so to speak. And so he ends up finding this funny kind of Christian festival sort of thing. Obviously speaking to the consumerist nature of Christianity, American Christianity these days. Nothing too new, but certainly some funny moments where he's at this amusement park type thing where the Red Sea's going to part at 1:30 and there's what was it, a fundamentalist bounce house like fun. So anyway, there's some cute little jokes in there like that. And Jesus does get a chance to address people who think that he's like, the kind of sort of like a Mickey Mouse in Disneyland, and thinking he's a kind of prop Jesus meant to entertain. And he ends up telling people, that he is he's going to talk about the one thing that people don't want to hear, change. He's going to say that people need to change, which is true. Jesus's messages had a very unsettling nature because he had a way of getting at the heart of what people were really after. Even people who seemed interested in him, he would say, you're only here because I fed you food yesterday, he was talking to a woman who was kind of shamed from her town and was trying to kind of do things in secret around town at times of the day when she wouldn't get noticed. And he said you've been married 5 times. He kind of called her out on being a sort of social pariah. But Jesus does that. He gets at the heart of who people really are. And I think a lot of people in society today there's a tendency for people to act as this, oh yeah, like Jesus was awesome. He loved everybody. He was super sweet and tender and loving. But his followers and people now are not that great. And yeah, there's, a lot of people who are maybe not great examples of who Christ was. But I believe that if Jesus were here today talking to people the same, a lot of people who think that, oh yeah, like Jesus was awesome, would really be offended by him, because he'd get at the heart of what they're really about. If their sort of love of the idea of Jesus is really just a glorification of their own self-image and how they perceive themselves to be totally accepting, but maybe are not really like they think they are. Maybe it's not so much about their acceptance of others as it is about their own view of themselves and propping up an idol in their minds of who they think they are. It gets uncomfortable. It gets uncomfortable around Jesus because he sees through people. How could he not? He's God. He's the creator of everybody. So Jesus is sort of rejected in this comic, and I thought that was really good. The people were kind of there to be entertained. They weren't interested in being challenged. So that kind of goes down. And then there's a thing that really wasn't Jesus. He ends up, they go to arrest him, and he's scared, like, oh no, not again. Like they're gonna put me, and he's running around, and he's seeing these actors dressed up as Jesus being crucified on the cross, and he's kind of freaked out about it and worried he's going to be crucified. And so to that I would say, no, that really doesn't make any sense, being that, although, I've missed the first volume, so I kind of get the premise of this series, but maybe I'm missing it a little bit. But the fact is, Jesus went to the cross despising the shame, it says. He was full aware of his mission on earth to redeem humanity, to die for humanity. So even when his disciples were resistant to the idea of him dying, he would get upset with them, or he would kind of tell them, no, like you guys don't get it. You don't know what spirit you guys have or about, So, so I would say that moment for me was kind of, it was off. However, the moment, so I'm speaking to people who have read this book, obviously. So that moment at the end, though, was really beautiful, where there's a guy that we've been seeing throughout this book trying to reach out for help, even trying to call Christian support prayer helplines, and his wife has left him. He's all alone. He's miserable. He doesn't see any point in living, and he ends up on a bridge ready to jump, and people are waiting in traffic, and all they care about is being held up because the police won't let them through until the situation's resolved. And here comes Jesus, who comes and sits with this guy and tries to, and he says a few things. He gives him a few insights into how he's looking at his own situation in life. But the biggest thing Jesus does is he actually handcuffs himself to this guy and says, you can still jump, but I'll be with you. And that is Jesus. I mean, Jesus became a man so that he could walk in our shoes, literally, know human weakness, and be the perfect redeemer for mankind. So that was really beautiful. I gotta say, Russell and Pace, I mean, the artwork, this kind of story is very rich. I really feel like the first issue was just hilarious, but even still, this series so far, from what I've read, seems like a real masterpiece. It is really quite, I mean, and I can even say there's some things that really aren't quite right as far as what Jesus would do, in my opinion, but wow, really beautiful storytelling, really profound. This one was definitely at the top of my stack for this week, with some other great titles. So I give thumbs up. I wrote a letter in to give my thoughts to the team. I emailed something in, so maybe we'll see that in a future issue. That would be exciting. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you're checking out this title. Maybe I'll put some links in the description. It comes from Ahoy Comics, so it's a kind of a smaller publisher. Definitely an indie comic, but really, really worth the read. Really well done. A lot of great writing, artwork. Total package, guys. So, Second Coming, Only Begotten Son, we're on issue 2, and moving forward, it could be interesting to see where else they take this story. So, thanks, guys. Check you later. Peace.